If we could have your attention, please. We are continuing with our driver media availabilities for today. We are now joined by Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 21 Motorcraft Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center Ford for Wood Brothers Racing. This is Ryan's first All-Star Weekend experience, and he will attempt to race his way in to the main event. He comes into this weekend on the heels of 3 consecutive top 10 finishes. So Ryan, just talk a little bit about your outlook for this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully it clears up. The weather will participate with us, but I'm excited. All-Star race has always been really cool to me. Come here every year, even though if my dad wasn't running it, he'd always run the showdown, and it was just a cool event to come watch and a cool race under the lights here. And as a kid, I always wanted to be a part of it. So it's something neat that we're going to attempt to do. Hopefully, we can get in, whether it's the segments or the fan votes. So that's something I'm looking forward to. It's just going to be a fun race. This is, really, I've never been a part of a race like this. Kind of a no points, kind of no holding back, and just going for a big prize. It's going to be a lot of fun to race in and then race other drivers in it as well.
Okay, we'll now open it up for questions. If you have a question for Ryan, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation. We'll get a microphone to you. Okay, we'll start here with Jeff Gluck. Can we get a microphone over to Jeff, please?
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Ryan, you have a great opportunity to race your way in because there's 3 segment winners in addition to the 2 fan vote people. So have you started to look ahead to what the strategy might be for the race? And, it's sort of an unusual format. Mm-hmm. How do you think that will unfold? And have you talked to your team about it at all?
We haven't talked too much strategy for the All-Star race yet, and we've kind of been mainly focused on doing the best we can in the showdowns to try to race our way in. There's some strategies that I'm sure some teams have, but whether it's going out and trying to lead every segment and having to start, I don't know, whether it's 10th or 11th or something like that, in the last little segment, or maybe someone else has a different strategy and being able to start on the front row for that last one. So it kind of depends, but really we've just been focused on trying to make it in there, and then we can work that stuff out.
Does your gut tell you one way or another which strategy might be better, like where you want to be?
I think with the new rules package, it'll be easier to pass going up through the field. Even though you have 13 laps, if you have 30 lap fresher tires than people in front of you, you can make some good ground. So that's, I think everyone's goal is to want the best car and be able to lead every single segment and know your car is good enough to drive up through the field at the end. It sounds pretty tough coming from 11th all the way to the lead in 13 laps, but it's been done before for sure, especially when people are on different strategies. So it's doable, and that's kind of where my gut is telling me to want to be at.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. You mentioned coming and watching the races when you were younger. Are there any of the All-Star races that stand out in your memory in particular?
One of the biggest ones, I thought, actually, well, the most exciting one. I think it was Denny and Kyle were racing for the lead, and he threw a block on him or whatever happened over on 2, and Kurt Busch came from 4th to the lead off of 4 and ended up winning the race for, I think he was driving the 2 car at the time. So that was definitely pretty exciting. I don't know what year that was, maybe 2010 or something. But to me, growing up, I was like, man, that was awesome. Good, hard racing that just shows that people are going for it, and you're going for $1 million, and people racing hard, and I thought that was a really great race.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of, I won't say politicking, but drivers would try to get fans behind them with a fan vote and everything. We don't seem to see that as much now. Did you do anything at all to try to get people to vote you in?
Not really. It's been pretty great to see. I get a notification every time someone votes for me on Twitter, and honestly, I'm getting annoyed by it, which is a good thing. That means people are voting, which is good. So, I'm sick of getting on Twitter and be like, so-and-so was voted for you. I hate seeing these, but it's cool that people are voting. So, it's shocked me, to be honest with you, how much people have been doing it, and it's going to be interesting to see how high up we are. We plan on winning one of the segments. We really don't want to fall back on the fan vote. I want to go out and win a segment, but it's been really neat, but I haven't done anything campaigning-wise.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob and then go to Lewis.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. Does the relationship with Penske help when there's all these rule changes as far as you all getting cars ready?
Yeah, it definitely does help. We get a lot of information. And, the Penske organization has always been, one of the best, I think, being ahead of the game as far as rule changes wise and being prepared for it. So that's something that they work very hard on, and we get that information too from the other two teams. So that's a great part about being, kind of a satellite team to the Penske group. It's we get a lot of info from them, and hopefully be ahead of the ball with these new rule changes.
Louis Frank of Reuters. Ryan, last year at this time, you only had 4 races coming into Charlotte, and now you've run every race. How have you changed as a driver? What have you learned running so many races?
It just helps. Every time you get in the race car, the more you can be in the race car, be at the track every single week and driving. I didn't have that last year. I had 15 races in the Cup side, and 3 of them got rained out or something like that. So that side of it, being able to go to the racetrack every week and having that kind of consistent rhythm has definitely helped me. But not only me, Jeremy Bowens, my crew chief, and the whole team just working together. They get used to each other every single week, just like I get used to these race cars and tracks. So that's something that has really helped us. And I think the past few weeks our team has done really well in coming together and developing and overcoming obstacles and being able to get decent finishes out of it. So I think that speaks very highly for them.
Okay, we'll take the next question from Jenna and then go toward the back.
Jenna Fryer, AP. In the little time that you've been part of the Penske organization, what, if anything, have you learned from Roger?
It's kind of hard to point a certain thing out. Kind of the way, I don't know, just the influence he has on you, I feel like has definitely changed my outlook, not only on the racing side of it, but on personal life. Being able to see him, whether it's once a month or twice a month or so. He doesn't come around as, he has other things going on. So he's at most of the Sunday races. Especially this month, he's maybe a little bit more busy with the IndyCar side of it. But just to how he, kind of his work ethic and his outlook on racing and life in general has definitely helped me ever since I went there. And when I got there, I was 18 years old and didn't really grasp the whole racing concept. I just wanted to go drive the race cars. And now, since you can sit down and talk to him and kind of see how his outlook on things, you kind of change the way that you act at the racetrack and away from it.
Has he ever been mad at you?
Has he been mad at me? I don't know. I thought he was mad at me when I threw the race away at Indy last year, but he was actually very supportive, and that really meant a lot.
Okay, go ahead with our next question.
Dave Exum, Independent Tribune. Ryan, I know this is kind of early to be talking about the 600, but could you kind of talk about the endurance and stamina you need to get through 600 miles and kind of how do you prepare physically for it? And thank you.
Yeah, really just no different than any other weekend. When we do 500, even 400-mile races, they're still fairly long. But the 600 definitely wears on you. This track is a very demanding racetrack, and I remember I didn't run 600 last year. I ran about maybe 480 last year, and we had an issue. But I think they said we were halfway, and that one stung a little bit. We were only on lap 200. I was like, man, we got a long ways to go. But really no different than any other race. You got to stay hydrated. You got to make sure you're eating a lot during the race. That might be the only thing different. We make sure we eat, maybe whether it's a protein bar or something like that. I like to have something in there to help out, just because it wears on you so much physically and mentally. So that's really it. There's nothing too big that we do out of the ordinary.
Okay, we'll take the next question from Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Have you allowed yourself to think about what you might do if you won the $1 million?
That didn't really cross my mind, to be honest with you. I can figure that out if we would do it. I don't really know. That's a good question. I don't really have a lot of needs. I wouldn't go buy a bunch of stuff. I don't really care about that stuff. I don't know. Maybe put some money back in my dad's race shop or something. Fund his racing team for a little bit. That'd be kind of neat. What's that? Rebuild No, that thing's in the trash. Junked it. But that, or I think it'd be really cool actually maybe going to find one of my grandfather's old cars. I think that'd be really neat to go find it and restore it. So that'd probably be a start.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob and then go over to Tucker.
With the 100th running of the Indy 500, I know your family has Midwest roots, but you kind of grew up here. Do you follow it at all, and do you follow it anymore, considering now you're part of Penske?
I always followed it, just because I thought it was neat. I was growing up, I was a fan of all racing, whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, Australian V8 stuff, F1. I liked it all, and definitely now, since I'm been with Penske, you watch the IndyCar stuff more, just because you know those guys. Will and Elio and Juan and Simon, you support them more just because they're friends of yours, and you like to see that team succeed also. And they've been succeeding very well the past few weeks. Simon's been doing a really great job over there. So I think it's really cool to be a part of an organization what's the 100th running. I think Mr. Penske is driving the pace car, which is really, really neat. And that'd be a heck of a way to cap that off. The guy who's won there more than anybody, and be able to do the 100th, that'd be really neat. It's a shame I can't go to it. But I'll be definitely watching it on TV. What's that? How's that?
He's done it before, gone up in the morning.
I have to ask about that. Be nice.
Okay, we'll go over to Tucker.
Tucker White, SpeedwayMedia.com. Ryan, NASCAR is running a different modified aero package this weekend, with this being the All-Star race and non-points event. So, what kind of difference might we? How would the results be different here since it's a non-points race versus if we ran it in a points race like we did at Kentucky and Darlington last year?
Well, I think that NASCAR is always trying to make improvements to racing, and they did that this year with the aero package. And I think they're going to do it this week with less SKU package and the new rules package. The main point is just trying to slow these cars down in the middle of the corner. That makes for better passing, makes more mechanical grip. You're always going to be relying on aero, always. I don't care if you're going 70 miles an hour. You're always going to have aero troubles, and it's not going to be as good behind the car. But the more that we can do to try to put more mechanical grip in it and make aero not as big of an issue, the better it's going to be. And I think the reason why NASCAR wanted to do it in this race rather than a points race like we did at, whether it was the low downforce or high downforce stuff we did last year, was to just try it out, and really kind of throw the teams one a curveball when it really doesn't have any points implications. You're just going for $1 million. I'm not saying you're just going for $1 million. I mean, it's $1 million, but I think it's just better than throwing it out there in a points race. And this is, I don't want to say this is a test session, but it's almost that way, being a non-points race and everything like that.
So with it.
All right, thanks.
Any final questions for Ryan? Okay, Ryan, thank you for your time today. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.